Our Christmas dinner took a dramatic turn when my entitled daughter-in-law, out of nowhere, announced that come the new year, we should hand over our house to her and move out. I burst into laughter and pointed her to the exit. But the next day brought a stunning twist. I'm Michael, 57, and in all my years I've never met anyone as self-absorbed as my daughter-in-law, Sophia. I've dealt with all kinds, some tough, some unreasonable. But she was unmatched, always taking, never content, forever believing she deserved more. From the moment she wed my son, Ryan, I went out of my way to support them. I gifted them a charming one-bedroom apartment in a great area as a wedding gift. It wasn't lavish, but it was a strong start, better than what most young couples get. At the time, I thought it would provide them with security, a base for their future. I had no idea that to Sophia it was just a stepping stone to something bigger, something she felt she was owed. Her complaints began subtly, woven into conversations like offhand comments. The apartment was too small, the kitchen wasn't practical, they needed more space. At first I let it slide, thinking it was just newlywed growing pains. But soon her remarks grew bolder. Sophia started openly saying the place wasn't enough. She insisted they deserved better, that Ryan worked hard and should have a home that matched his efforts. The worst part? Ryan started agreeing with her. Over time he began repeating the same complaints. How the apartment felt cramped, how it wasn't fit for long-term living, how their pets, not kids but pets, needed more space to wander. I tried to stay calm, reminding myself Ryan was still my son, that marriage changes people. But deep down, I was livid. I'd given them a home, a free home, and instead of appreciation, they acted like I'd handed them a cage. I held my tongue for years, mostly because my wife, Diane, urged me to avoid conflict. She knew how much Sophia grated on me, but she hated arguments. So I endured the digs, the grumbling, the entitlement, until that Christmas dinner. The house was adorned just as Diane loved. The scent of roasted ham filled the air, festive music played softly, and for a moment I thought we might have a peaceful evening. I was wrong. Halfway through the meal, Sophia put down her fork, cleared her throat, and with her usual blunt tone announced they'd decided on some big changes for the new year. I assumed she meant a career shift or a new place. But no. She locked eyes with me and declared that since our house was ideal for them, Diane and I should move to the lakeside cabin and let them take over. For a split second, I thought she was joking, but her face was deadly serious, as if this was a perfectly fair demand. Something in me broke. Years of bottled-up frustration poured out, and I couldn't hold back. I laughed, a loud, incredulous laugh that hushed the room. Then I let her have it. If space was such a problem, maybe she should focus on giving us grandkids instead of collecting pets. And if the pets needed more room, they could sleep in the yard. The room fell silent. Sophia's face hardened. Without a word, she stood, grabbed her coat, and stormed out. Ryan hesitated, looking between us, then followed her. I thought that was the end of it. A few days of pouting, maybe some snarky messages, and then things would settle. But the next day, everything shifted. I woke up feeling strangely lighter. After years of biting my tongue, I'd finally spoken my truth. Sophia had left in a huff, Ryan had trailed after her, and for the first time in ages, I wasn't tiptoeing around their demands. I figured Ryan would call soon, to apologize, explain, or act like nothing happened. What I didn't expect was what came next. Diane checked her phone first that morning, her expression tightening as she read a long message. She handed me the phone without a word. It was from Ryan. Sophia had packed up and left him. She refused to return unless Ryan fixed things, which meant convincing me to hand over our house. No discussion, no compromise. Just give it up because she decided it belonged to her. I read it twice then again. Diane watched, waiting for my reaction. My blood boiled. Sophia had walked out on her husband as a power play. She was holding their marriage hostage, demanding Ryan force me to surrender my home before she'd even think about coming back. And the worst part? Ryan wasn't furious. He wasn't outraged. Instead, he was begging me to see her side. I set the phone down, gripping the table to steady myself. Diane, always the peacemaker, suggested we at least think about it, for the sake of family unity. I stared at her, stunned. Think about giving up the home I'd built over a lifetime because Sophia threw a fit. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. It was my sister, Laura. "Michael, have you seen this? Check Facebook now." I opened the app, and there it was. A post from Sophia. A long, dramatic rant about how she'd been wronged by selfish in-laws who refused to help her and Ryan. She painted herself as the victim, claiming they'd been pushed out due to cruelty and greed. The comments were filled with sympathy. Friends, distant cousins, even strangers taking her side. Families should support each other, not hoard what they don't need. You and Ryan deserve better. She'd crafted the story masterfully. Diane read over my shoulder, her worry evident. Within hours, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Ryan, my brother, cousins, even Diane's coworkers who'd seen the post. Sophia had started a war and I was done staying quiet. By midday, Ryan showed up at our door, weary and defeated. He pleaded with Diane to talk sense into me, saying Sophia just wanted to feel included in the family. I nearly laughed again. Included, after everything I'd given them. Then my brother Daniel arrived, holding up his phone. Our mother had seen the post and was in tears, convinced I'd kicked Ryan and Sophia out onto the street. Sophia had pulled the entire family into her drama, twisting the story to make me the bad guy. The house went quiet after Daniel left. Diane sat across from me, her voice soft but firm. Michael, we need to take a step back. This isn't just about Sophia anymore, it's about Ryan. If we don't give in, we might lose him. I flinched, give up our home, but Diane's words hit deep. We can rebuild a house, we can't rebuild Ryan. It took me 3 sleepless nights to come to terms with it. I walked through the house, touching every wall, recalling every memory. On the 4th day, I called Ryan and told him we'd move to the cabin. He didn't ask if I was sure. He didn't offer to help. Within a day, Sophia was back, acting like nothing had happened. They threw a housewarming party weeks later. I went for Ryan's sake, watching as Sophia showed off the house like she'd built it herself. She'd even turned the garage into a pet haven for her 4 cats. I stayed silent. Over the next year, things started to unravel. Ryan began visiting us alone, mentioning arguments, financial strain, and Sophia's constant demands for upgrades. Then one day he showed up with a suitcase. Sophia was gone for good this time. A note on the counter, an empty wardrobe. She'd moved west to find herself. Ryan moved into our spare room. We didn't dwell on the past. The old house sat empty until, months later, our neighbor called. Sophia's car was in the driveway. She'd kept a key and was posting smug Instagram stories about reclaiming her castle. I called the police, had her removed, changed the locks, and sold the house. Ryan didn't object. He's still with us, piecing his life back together. The house is gone, and so is Sophia. Here's my advice. If someone tries to guilt you into giving up your home to keep the family together, ask yourself who you're really doing it for. Sometimes family means knowing where to set boundaries and making sure certain people never cross them again. Life at the cabin settled into a calm routine. Ryan kept up with therapy, slowly rebuilding his confidence. He took on more freelance work, and though he rarely mentioned Sophia, her absence lingered in his quiet moments. Diane and I gave him space, knowing some scars heal best without prodding. Then one night over dinner, Ryan caught us off guard. "I've been thinking," he said, poking at his plate. "I want to buy my own place, nothing big, just something that's mine." Diane's eyes teared up, but she nodded. I patted his shoulder. "That's a solid plan, son." The next weekend, we helped him tour a modest 2-bedroom house on the edge of town. It needed repairs, but Ryan's face lit up as he pointed out where he'd put a desk or how he'd fixed the sagging porch. For the first time in years, he looked like himself. Not Sophia's husband, not the son caught in the middle, just Ryan. The sale went through fast. As we helped him move in, Diane whispered to me, "He's going to be fine." The old house, now with new owners, faded into memory. The young couple who bought it painted it bright colors and turned Sophia's pet haven back into a garage. Life moved forward. Then, out of nowhere, Sophia reappeared. It started with a friend request on social media. Ryan ignored it. Next came emails, long, wordy messages about closure and regrets. She claimed she'd changed, that she'd been in counseling, that she was sorry for how things ended. Ryan deleted them without reading, but Sophia wasn't finished. One rainy Tuesday, she showed up at Ryan's new doorstep. Diane and I were there, helping him hang a light fixture when the doorbell rang. Ryan opened it, and there she was, soaked, holding a wilted bouquet of supermarket flowers. "Can we talk?" she asked, her voice shaky. Ryan didn't shout. He didn't slam the door. He just said calmly, "No." Then he closed it, locked it, and walked back to us like it was nothing. Sophia banged on the door for a full minute before giving up. Through the window, I saw her toss the flowers into a puddle and leave. She never reached out again. That winter, Ryan started dating someone new, a librarian named Claire, who laughed at his bad puns and didn't care about house size. The first time she came to the cabin for dinner, she brought Diane a homemade tart and asked me about the fishing photos on the wall. No demands, no drama, just dessert. After dinner, Ryan pulled me aside. "Dad, I should have stood up to Sophia sooner. I'm sorry." I shook my head. "You learned, that's what counts." Now, when people ask how things turned out, I tell them this: a house is just a house. Family is what you protect. Some people will always see kindness as weakness. Don't let them confuse the two. And if someone says their cats need more space than your lifetime of memories, change the locks before they ask. Last month, Claire and Ryan got engaged. They're renting a place near the library, and yes, they adopted a cat. Just one. It sleeps on the sofa. If you connected with this story and felt its emotions, please give it a like, share it with others, and follow for more real-life tales and heartfelt experiences. Your support means everything, and it helps us share more stories like this. Thank you for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.